Hello and welcome. We have a observer game here between Mlord and TheMista. I'm not familiar with Mlord, but TheMista is a long-time Age of Mythology player. He played a lot of Age of Empires Online, and he basically whatever game he's played, he's been very top tier. So I don't know who Mlord is. I know who Mista is, so I kind of expect Mista to take this game, but we'll see. We'll see what this Mlord guy can pull out. Maybe he's an Age of Empires 2 player. I'm not super familiar with that scene, so we'll just have to watch and see. But TheMista playing as Abbasid Dynasty. He's been pretty active so far up to this point, winning most of his games for sure. I've played him a few times and he's beaten me pretty handily. So yeah, he's a very good player. If he continues to play and plays up to the tournament, I think he will definitely be a favorite to be in the at least final 8. So if not winning it all, so definitely top player here. Mista is just scouting on the map, collecting sheep. I think from what I've seen so far, he goes pretty bare bones Age 1, doesn't go for economic upgrades, and even goes extended later into the game before getting upgrades. So it's kind of interesting aspect of his playstyle thus far. Maybe he's just, you know, getting a feel for getting units out, getting buildings down with timings, and seeing if there's any room for improvement from basically a bare bones standard build order. So if you find some gaps or holes in the build where he can fit some upgrades, he'll probably introduce those into his game plan. But what's interesting though about Abbasid is you don't necessarily need those upgrades, because you can very quickly get the 10 buildings within the influence zone, and once you get the 10 you get to the tier 1 influence benefit, which is villager gather rate plus 10% for all resources, and that's not just villagers within the influence zone, that's all villagers. So you just need the number of structures within the influence zone. So right now he's already at 3. Counts everything except the House of Wisdom, and now 4 with the lumber camp there. So, and it extends. It's not visible here, but each building will extend it a little bit more, so it doesn't have to be necessarily right around this building. It can be close to the lumber camp, close to the mining camp over there. So yeah, we'll see how quickly you can get to that. I think you can get to 10 just with houses in the first few military buildings, probably before 6 minutes. So that's pretty early to get 10% total eco, basically upgrade. And Mlord over here playing as Ruse, playing much different than what I'm familiar with for Ruse players. What I'm typically used to seeing is a hunting cabin immediately on the starting forest to generate some gold, and then to create a couple scouts that will then run around the map killing deer, gathering more sheep, because as you see him doing here, he gets 10 gold for every deer. Wow, he seems to be shooting very quickly. I wonder if he knows something that's like a little trick or something, but that seems really quick to kill those deer. Anyway, we'll stay on him for a little bit, see what he's up to. Like I said, he's doing a pretty unusual build for what I've seen. And he's looking like he's not getting any economic upgrades either. He's aging up with the Kremlin, which gives a bonus 20% wood gather rate to nearby lumber camps. So this one will be affected by it. But actually, you know what? I don't even think it's gather rate. I think it's actually the drop off. It says lumber camps and town centers within the influence zone of a wooden fortress return 20% more food. So for more wood, sorry. So yeah, I think it's actually not even gather rate, it just, they drop off more. Yeah, 12 instead of 10. So the gather rate's the same. You just, when they drop it off, you get 20% more. So that's pretty solid. I typically go with the other landmark that lets you trade for really high value and doesn't decrease value the amount you trade. It's completely unrelated to the market in terms of trading costs, trading benefit. So anyway, Mista over here, starting 2 stables, going horseman. From what I've seen, that's pretty typical for what he's doing, what he likes to do. Let's see if he has any. Still no economy upgrades from the mill or the lumber camp. So no economic upgrades at all. He does have a lot of sheep here still. And back over to Mlord. He's got a stable and he's adding a barracks. He hasn't scouted anything, but I guess he's just kind of playing to the fact that most people are making a lot of cavalry at this point in time. So it's good to have some spearmen sitting around. Especially when you're attacking, you want to still have some spearmen on your villagers guarding them, because otherwise you can lose villagers pretty quickly, especially if there's knights involved in the raids. But yeah, it's actually interesting that as a ruse player, Mlord is kind of playing this as if he's not playing ruse, because he could be making knights, and most people like to go for those when they're available. Well, little ambush here in the stealth forest. Nice play with Mista just hiding out. He has yet to scout the military buildings of his opponent as well. Well, it looks like Mista has added a 3rd stable here. And now adding a 4th military building, archery range. And we're at 7 minutes, so he's really throwing down the production facilities. Even though he at this time he is not utilizing. Well, he can if he's got the resources to queue up a unit here as well, but I guess it's either he worked it out perfectly where this is the time where you can actually support 3 or 4 military buildings, or he's just getting the buildings down so that when he wants to make units, he can get them out quickly. Yeah, and a 5th. That's 2 archer ranges and 3 stables. Wow, that is some production right there. And you may have noticed that he's reached that 10 structure influence zone, now going to be up to 14, and maybe that has to do with it too. I don't think you can realistically get to 30 structures super early, but maybe that's what he's got his eye on. And he's got a scout in the stealth forest here, really nice, gives good vision without his opponent even knowing. Oh, now that I say that, he actually sees him, or is that? Yeah, I think he was able to see him, unless it was a bug, but Mlord going for a raid back here, not going to get anything. Mista's got a few units sitting, waiting, watching, guarding his miners. And it's interesting to notice that Mista's composition is completely food and wood, so he's only got a few villagers on gold for upgrades. Uh-oh. It's going to be a little bit of a raid here, but Mista reacted right away. So, Mlord over on the side of the map here, he does have wheelbarrow. He's got a wooden fortress here protecting his hunt that he's gathering now. And Mlord getting caught a little bit, losing a horseman. Mista catching it with some camel archers and horsemen of his own. But the blue units should get away. Should be able to get away there. Alright, so now Mista switching onto some stone. And let's see where Mlord. So Mlord has an archery range now. He's got 1-1-1. In Age of Empires Online, build order wise for military structures, we just call it 1-1-1 when you're going even composition, 1 barracks, 1 stable, 1 archery range. And Mista's going 3-2, 3 stables, 2 archer ranges. And then another archery range for Mlord, which is kind of surprising given how many horsemen there are on the map for Mista. And it looks like Mlord is actually prioritizing the melee attack and armor upgrades at the blacksmith, which is nice to have, a nice little bonus. And he's got some units here, so a bunch of spearmen that can cut off any incoming raids. But Mista, I don't think has an armory yet, or blacksmith. Losing a chem archer there, they are very expensive. I think it's 180 food, 40 wood. 180 food, 60 wood. That is really expensive. But Mista also getting a couple units killed here. So the composition here is very mobile for the Mista, and for Mlord, he's kind of the opposite. He's got a lot of infantry, a few cavalry, but for the most part it's infantry based. And from my experience in this situation, this is going to be a rough flank here. The pikemen do get some good hits, but the archers are just exposed. They're targeting the chem archers, which is the correct target there. Mista splitting off horsemen left and right, trying to avoid the shots from the attacks from the spearmen. But now everything is down, and Mista just crushed that fight based on numbers mostly. But did have some good micro in there as well. So Mlord, he does have a market maybe for some macro fixing. Not making any caravans this early. And look at Mista, he's got his eye. He's got his eye on the hunt on the left side of the map, and he's gonna swing over there right now. So he is aware at all times of what's going on. And this is actually the first time, kind of ironically, that he's scouting the military buildings. I guess he's comfortable with the mobility of cavalry and running around, and you do seem to have a big freedom of choice of when to engage when you have cavalry. So it's hard to push against someone going full horseman or horse archer or whatever, because as you push out, they can just go into your base and just like this, with some camel archers in the back killing some bills. So Mista is just really controlling the map and kind of the pace of the game with the composition that he has. So see, and this is one reason why I don't like this landmark all that much, is because the lumber camp that he has now is now out of the influence zone, so this actually has no benefit at this point in time. I typically go for that, but you could build it closer to the wood line. But yeah. So Mlord is not looking in such a great shape position right here, although the scores would tell you otherwise. Don't yet know how accurate the score is. So let's check the economy. 39 villagers for Mlord, 24 military. Mista is at 47 and 25, so Mista definitely ahead in terms of economy. 10 extra villagers. He's taking a few down here and there with raids, and you know, he's just never felt any pressure. So the composition is really what's, I think, control is just giving Mista the control on the game here. So far he's queued up his first ranged armor, a blacksmith upgrade. Mlord positioning for another fight. Let's check his armor real quick before that begins. He already has 3 armory upgrades. Oh, sorry, I keep calling them armory. That's what it's called in Age of Empires 3. But blacksmith upgrades. But the number of units, the triple flank is coming in here. And Mlord is starting to see the position he is in and how few spearmen he has. This is looking very, very dangerous for those archers. And we got some units still trickling in, but I don't know. I mean, the spearmen are really actually doing more than I would have expected, and that could be directly due to the blacksmith upgrades. But yeah, I mean, eventually the army just gets picked off, and again, Mlord has to mass up while Mista is able to spread out, go look for some villagers again, and just kind of enjoy his economy safely taking off, adding his second town center. It's probably been up there for quite a while, actually. And then Mista, again, throwing down additional military buildings like there's no tomorrow. He's gonna have 5 stables and 3 archery ranges. That's 8 military buildings at the 15-minute mark. I know in Age of Empires Online it was pretty common to have a large number of military buildings just to get units out when you needed them. And I think Miss is carrying that idea over to Age of Empires 4 here. Oh, this is good micro from Mlord there. He's getting some good hits on units for free. And that was actually really well done. It looked like Missa was maybe going to be able to get behind and flank, but well controlled by Mlord. But yeah, and you can see the resource count. There's so many resources, but he's not actually even making units. Maybe he's trying to age up. I'm not sure. He's queuing up units now, but to get those units out, it's going to take some time. So having the extra military facilities would help expedite that quite a bit. Nice farming. Already down at 16 minutes. He's got 15 farms. It's important to get your farms down early and not have to react all of a sudden when all the berries or hunt that you've been on have run out. Although I would like him to continue gathering these deer because it is gathered at such high rate. But he's been poked a few times with Cab there, so he's kind of stayed off that. So Mista, let's see where he's at with his game plan here. He's putting up a couple outposts. Oh, and I was going to say, and then I see up top he is aging, so that's a little bit of a defense while he ages up. A little bit of security. And oh, that's right, he's Abbasid, so he ages at the House of Wisdom. He's aging with the Culture Wing. Oh, and I actually missed this earlier. But he aged up with the Economic Wing and had the reduced villager cost upgrade very early on. So 25 food villagers for quite a while. That's helping him afford some additional military units. And now he's going to be going with Culture Wing, which has a very nice upgrade, reducing the cost of all technology by 30%. All technology. 30%, that is quite a big number. So Mista does have wheelbarrow now. And the first food upgrade. Doesn't have any mining upgrades. He has forestry and the first lumber upgrade. So he's getting his eco going. Mlord here. He is aging up as well. The High Trade House, which it generates gold like a hunting cabin, which you would want to have around trees, but unfortunately he does not. And it also spawns a deer every 60 seconds and acts as a mill. So it's a very unique building in terms of, well, I guess it's actually the same as a hunting cabin, but a little bit better. And it spawns deer, so it's like a large hunting cabin. Unfortunately, he didn't place it around any trees. Okay, so here's another fight. Mista losing a few units. I think he has the numbers in that, but there are a lot of spearmen. It's a little bit dangerous. Probably no real reason to take that fight, so he runs away. Hardened Spearman upgrade came in earlier, and now upgrade to Veteran Archers is coming in. Let's check his Blacksmith once again. He's getting ranged armor and melee armor, so he's on top of the Blacksmith upgrades for sure. This guy is definitely a decent player. What is a little bit concerning now is that he doesn't have any walls, he doesn't have any cavalry, and ooh, Veteran Spearman coming in. This is a good initial engagement, but they might not last too long. There's some knights in here on the archers, and yeah, the Spearmen are getting picked off. Veteran Camel upgrade came in for Mista, and yeah, the Spearman just drops so quickly. Mista's really pushing in now, and he's got such a big mass. I don't know if he's going to hang around here a long time or end up retreating, but I mean, these are all the military production facilities right here. He could sit there and just pick off units as they come out if he felt like he had enough of a mass to just do that without losing too much. And wow, look at that. He's gotten gold tier. 30 structures within the influence zone, expanding straight forward and expanding that influence zone. And now he has 15% bonus gather rate for all resources and 15% faster research speed. So that's really, he's been playing, clearly you can see he's been playing Abbasid quite a bit, where he understands the best ways to get their benefits from the influence zone, because that's 30 buildings is not easy. You have to really be paying attention to it. So that's really nice that he's able to do that. Putting down a third town center. He's currently at 90 villagers. Mlord, who I believe this entire time is on the 1 TC, he's at 61. So he is significantly behind here in terms of economy, and clearly you've been seeing his military kind of just dropping every fight. I mean, making some okay trade at points, but just behind in numbers. And I think that is because of Mista having the correct amount of production facilities. So I think Mista really likes this this mobility composition, and the veteran camel archers, they provide a bonus. They cause enemy cavalry to deal 20% less damage, which is a lot. That's a big buff just for having one of them around. And I think Mista might be one of the few players that goes against the norm in the tournament and picks a civ that doesn't have early knights. And this is a good composition for that. And there we go. Wow, look at the amount of units on the screen here. Just coming in from every side. Mista playing this very well. A great game from him. And I think you're going to be seeing a lot of that. I think Mista is going to be one of the best players in this game for as long as he is willing and able to play. I know he doesn't have a ton of time, personal time, but when he puts his mind to it and he has the time, he can be unbelievably good. Just like in Age of Empires Online, he won every tournament. In Age of Mythology, I know he's been a top player for a very long time. I don't know if he plays all that often anymore, but yeah, just a very consistent player. Very, very good throughout the H game franchise. So looking at the charts here, Mista was ahead in villagers just a little bit. It didn't really make much of a difference until he got to the third H and got his third TC up. But I mean, you got to remember that the culture, the House of Wisdom benefit, the 10% extra gather rate for all villagers once you get to 10 buildings within that influence zone. So I mean, you really, even if you have the same amount of villagers, you have 10% better economy. So and that can happen as early as like 5 minutes. So Abbasid is a good civ. It's a bit unique and maybe a little bit more difficult to play than something like French or English, but you can see Mista knows how to make it work. And from my games with Mista and observing him a little bit here and there, he always has that KD. Just not just because of his micro, yeah, also because of his composition where he has more expensive units, but his micro definitely plays a part in that. So yeah, he's always getting good value out of his units. And let's take a look at a few more things here. The age up times, starting to look at a little bit more closely as to what's going to be the standard age up time. I think very similar to Age of Empires 3 and maybe Age of Mythology, where the age up times are around 440. Anything over like 510 is quite a late age up. So we'll see if that sticks or how people adapt, how it ends up, what the meta becomes. And look at they got to age 3 at the exact same time. So Mlord is, I'm sure he's a really good player, but Mista is one of the best right now, I think, and it's just going to be difficult to beat him at all. And even this, one of my favorite stats here, the average idle villager time, both of them under 20 seconds. So yeah, I can definitely say that Mlord is a good player, maybe even potentially a top player. I haven't seen him play at all, so he might be early on in his games, and might be. There's been a few players that started off a little bit slow, but then quickly just really took off in terms of their knowledge and skill. And yeah, so we'll keep an eye on these players as the game develops. But good game to Mista, and hope you guys enjoyed the video and stop by for the next one. We'll see ya.